You've been waiting for it, so I got it. My name is Gabe Ross, and I am a history and social studies double major at the University of Western Kentucky. And today I get the job of analyzing a wonderful article you know as Diversity Grows by Mr. Gary R. Howard. And pretty much what Gary tried to tackle throughout this article is, of course, the reality of diversity in the classroom, but also use 5 different phases in order to learn to connect to the environment around us, whether it is the school community, the classroom, but be able to adapt to the wide amount of diversity in the classroom, and also being able to connect with the staff in order to implement the necessity of keeping a diverse classroom a safe classroom. So in order to analyze this article, I'm using the template for analyzing the logic of an article with you today, just going down all these different questions and stuff and answering them, and it's going to be a great ride, don't worry. First of all, the main purpose of this article is to remind teachers that they are in a constantly changing, diverse world of education and need to continuously re-examine their tactics to promote a comfortable learning environment for students. So we need to constantly examine the way that we are presenting ourselves in the material, but also we need to examine the amount of diversity in the classroom and use that as a catalyst to implement new strategies possibly, or a new way to be able to teach these students. Second of all, the key question that the author is addressing is, what does it take for a teacher to properly overcome boundaries, maybe diversity boundaries, and racial differences with students that allow teachers to instruct students effectively and thoroughly. So how are we going to jump over those boundaries and get into the minds of students and help them learn more efficiently? Third, the most important information in this article is the author stressing of a need for growth. We need to constantly be seeking, as instructors, as teachers, whatever we are, they all fall under the same circle, and that involves growth. We need to constantly be re-examining our tactics in order to continuously grow, learn experiences as teachers and stuff. I know that constantly changes with time, but while we're in this setting, constantly need to be seeking to grow and following these 5 phases that are being presented by this author. If you want to find them out, you need to read the article. It's pretty good. Number 4, the main inferences and conclusions in this article is that by following the 5 phases, like I said before, offered by this text, one can both learn to accept the diversity of a large range of students of differing ethnicities, that's a big word, as well as establish a connection with the student body. And in turn, this would allow instruction to flow more thoroughly, easily. And students will become more attentive when we as teachers give students attention. So when we give students the ability to interact with us, and when we learn new tactics and stuff that kind of help build that connection, we help students grow along with us. So we all are in a state of growth. It's great. Number 5, the key concepts we need to understand in this article, or rather the one key concept that we need to understand in this article, is that when we become instructors, we take on the challenge of constantly changing our perspective, like I said before, and our tactics, which means that we need to constantly be observing how we approach situations, different situations that happen in the classroom, according to the diversity scale, or in other words, how we would approach it from, let's say, for me, instance, I am a white Caucasian male. How am I going to assess the situation of an African American male and help establish a diverse classroom? If I'm not examining my tactics continuously and I have a new member in the classroom, how am I going to properly be able to address that student and kind of understand where that student's coming from? And also the various different ethnic groups that we are approaching. We need to constantly examine what, like I said before, what kind of ethnic groups are in the classroom. A lot of great stuff here. Number 6, the main assumption that's underlying the author's thinking is that, of course, with the range of diversity that is emerging in the school system, constantly reapproaching and learning to bond with different people of different backgrounds is essential. We find that in the workplace. We find that in different locations. We can even find that in the city of Bowling Green. No matter where you are, you'll run into different ethnicities and different forms of diversity, different ethnic groups, and we need to learn as people, and especially as instructors, to learn how to deal with that large amount of diversity. Whatever language, whatever religion, whatever ethnicity, it's all here, and we all need to take hold of it. 7a. If we take this line of reasoning seriously, the implications are that the tactics that are being offered by the author, those 5 different phases, like I said before, will help instructors attend to the constant growth of diversity in the classroom and meet the challenge of assessing a classroom of large amounts of differentiation. So pretty much we use those tactics, like I said before, same thing, we are reiterating. We take those tactics to attend to the constant growth of diversity. There's constantly different ethnic groups and stuff that are coming into the classroom, and we need to constantly use those tactics and apply them to new students. Let's say a new Chinese student comes in, and we don't know anything about their background. It doesn't mean we have to take a 400 level class over Chinese culture or any kind of information like that, but we do need to take the time to express our desire to learn about who they are, establish a connection with them, a relationship with them, and promote further diversity in the classroom so that whenever a new student comes in, maybe after that Chinese student, maybe they can form bonds amongst themselves, and that new student will learn from previous students that have established a sense of diversity with you as an instructor. You can all come together. I know there's a lot of words, but we're getting there, right? 7b. If we fail to take this line of reasoning seriously, the implications are that instructors will continue to struggle with meeting the need of re-examination and learning of diversity and differentiation, and will fail in connecting with students and the educational world that surrounds them. So if we're not constantly re-examining, we're going to fail to connect. We're going to fail to come together, and we're going to fail to learn what it means to be in a diverse educational world and be able to identify with students that we may or may not know. Even if they're not in your classroom, we've got to learn. And number 8, the main point of view presented in this article is from the eyes of the instructor, from the author himself, or anyone that seeks to instruct material, any kind of teacher basically, and form an environment that promotes diversity. So anyone that's seeking to teach, anyone that's taking material and teaching it to any member of any ethnicity group, whether it's white, it's black, it's Asian, you've got a Native American, whatever it is, all sorts of ethnic groups. We take hold of this, and we learn, and they learn. It's been a joy and an honor. Once again, Gabe Ross, History and Social Studies double major here at Western Kentucky University, analyzing the article As Diversity Grows by Mr. Gary R. Howard. Hope you enjoyed it. God bless you, and hopefully I'll see you around. Take care.